In the northern part of Denton County, Texas, there's a small town called Copper Canyon. It's connected to the city of Denton by a small bridge, only 32 meters long. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than an old wooden bridge that's seen better days. But in reality, this simple bridge has been surrounded by a storm of creepy stories and strange legends. Terrifying screams, footsteps echoing when no one's around, people being scratched or attacked by unseen creatures. These strange events earned the bridge a place on the list of the top 5 most haunted places in America, making it a favorite destination for thrill seekers and paranormal adventurers. And according to many of them, the terrifying things happening there are all because of one entity, the Goatman. Welcome, everyone. Today's story is about the demon Goatman's Bridge. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll get notified of our next creepy story. Our story begins back in 1846, when Denton County had just been established. The county officials were looking for a location to house the government offices. They first chose a small town called Pinckneyville, but within 2 years they had to move due to a shortage of water. The Texas legislature then picked a new location on a ridge just a mile away from the old site, calling it Alton. But the water problem still wasn't solved, and almost no one wanted to live there except for one man. By 1850, the county seat moved again, this time to a location south of Denton, still called Alton. The government built a post office, 2 hotels, a school, and a church. Slowly, people started moving in, and for 6 years life in Alton seemed fine. But then, residents began complaining of diseases caused by contaminated water. They petitioned to move the county seat further north, and soon after, people abandoned the town. About 30 years later, in 1884, a company called King Iron built a wooden and steel bridge connecting Denton and Copper Canyon, naming it the Alton Bridge after the former county seat. At the time, it was an important link for traders, farmers, and cattlemen. Wagons and horses crossed it daily. But eventually, a newer, wider bridge was built nearby, allowing 2-way traffic. The old Alton Bridge fell into disuse, and the surrounding area became completely deserted. When the old bridge was still used as a pedestrian crossing, people started reporting bizarre experiences. Strange noises coming from the forest, unnatural movement in the water below, gigantic shadows appearing among the trees, then vanishing. These sightings came from thousands of different people. But the creepiest reports described a huge creature waiting at the end of the bridge, a human-shaped body covered in thick black hair, with the head of a goat and massive horns. It would charge toward anyone walking the bridge, only to disappear right before reaching them. Soon, the Alton Bridge became known as Goatman's Bridge. The Goatman resembles a creature from Western folklore called a faun, a 2.5-meter-tall beast with the body of a human and the head of a goat, often giving off a foul stench. In myth, fauns are savage, flesh-eating, and live in isolated, abandoned areas. That's why people connected the strange events at Alton Bridge to this legend. But the local story about Goatman's Bridge tells a very different tale. The legend says that in the late 1930s, an African-American goat herder named Oscar Washburn lived with his family just north of the bridge. Oscar became incredibly successful, earning the nickname the Goatman. Proud of his work, he even hung a sign on the bridge that read, "This way to the Goatman." But Denton County was also home to the Ku Klux Klan, a white supremacist hate group. Offended by the sign and Oscar's success, a group of Klansmen decided to teach him a lesson. One August night in 1938, they kidnapped Oscar from his home in front of his wife and children, dragged him to the Alton Bridge, tied a rope around his neck, and threw him over the side. But when they looked down, the noose was empty. Oscar's body had vanished. There was no splash, no disturbance in the river below. Panic spread among the mob. They searched under the bridge but found nothing. Furious, The leader ordered them back to Oscar's house to burn it down with his wife and children still inside, hoping to lure him out, but Oscar never appeared. The legend claims that from that day on, his spirit haunted the bridge, appearing as a man with a goat's head, seeking revenge only on those connected to his death. Over the years, he allegedly hunted down and killed every Klansman involved. Today, they say he appears if you stop your car in the middle of the bridge, turn off the lights, and honk 3 times, or if you knock on the metal railings 3 times, just like the Klansmen did that night. Some believe Oscar's ghost is not the violent one. They say there's another, darker spirit at the bridge, the ghost of Steve, the KKK leader who killed him. Steve was known for cruelty and satanic practices. He had 3 wives, all of whom lived in misery. When a 4th woman rejected him, he forced her into marriage. On their wedding day, she poisoned herself, but Steve beat and bit her so violently that the official cause of death was his bite marks, not the poison. Shortly after, Steve went to the bridge, where Oscar's spirit allegedly appeared and killed him. His ghost is said to be trapped there forever, attacking anyone who dares to say his name aloud on the bridge. There's also an older legend, dating back to the 1860s, even before the bridge existed. It tells of Jack Kendall, another successful African-American goat herder. His success angered local cowboys, who hanged him from a tree near the bridge site. The hanging was so brutal that his head was severed. But Jack practiced voodoo, and according to the tale, he didn't die. His body kept moving, searching for revenge. He supposedly killed a goat, took its head, and placed it on his own shoulders, roaming the woods ever since, looking for his killers. Some claim to have seen the ghost of a woman in a long dress, wandering at midday, calling out for her daughter, who supposedly drowned after falling from the bridge. When the woman jumped in to save her, she drowned too. No official record exists of such an event, but the story persists. Because of its reputation, Goatman's Bridge has become a hotspot for occultists, Satanists, and thrill seekers. Locals say they've found animal bones, pentagrams made from tied bones, and even makeshift altars hidden in the woods. Pet stores in Denton and Copper Canyon stopped selling cats because too many were being bought and sacrificed at the bridge. Many people claim the place is genuinely haunted, not just a product of stories. In the early 2000s, 2 boys played soccer on the bridge one evening. When the sun began to set, they decided to leave, but suddenly, they heard hoofbeats on the wooden planks. Nothing was in sight, yet one boy was suddenly lifted and thrown over the rail into the river. He later swore that something, not someone, picked him up and hurled him over. Others have heard screams, seen glowing eyes in the woods, and felt warm breath on their necks, only to turn and find nothing. In 2018, 2 paranormal investigators brought their equipment to the bridge at midnight. They recorded everything they experienced. Their footage went viral, gaining over 20 million views and making the bridge even more famous among ghost hunters. One of the most dedicated researchers is author Becky Vickers, who spent 25 years investigating Goatman's Bridge for her book Secrets of Goatman's Bridge. She claims to have been scratched and pushed there, found animal bones arranged in satanic symbols, and even witnessed hooded figures appearing and disappearing among the trees. To this day, no one knows the true secret of Goatman's Bridge. Is it haunted by the spirits of the murdered? Cursed by satanic rituals? Or just a product of fear and folklore? Some even point to the medieval Knights Templar, who worshipped a demon called Baphomet, a creature with a man's body and a goat's head. Whatever the truth is, the legend of Goatman's Bridge continues to grow.